Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles, great millstone. Peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers in this truth. The chariots are here. UFO sightings in New York, nearly double Navy spot pyramid-shaped UFOs on video because it's getting closer to that time. This is Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roe. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roe. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. There was no planes during the time of Zechariah, no helicopters, so he seen something flying, a flying roe, what you call today a UFO.
Flying in the sky. Brian Yennis is live for us in Brooklyn. Well, meantime, UFO sightings in New York have nearly doubled since the pandemic began, and we are getting new video from the Navy showing pyramid-shaped objects flying in the sky. Brian Yennis is live for us in Brooklyn, New York. Brian, good morning.
Trace, good morning. This extraordinary video and images of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, were leaked to investigative reporter Jeremy Corbell and investigative reporter George Knapp. This night vision video purportedly shows three pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the coast of California in July of 2019. At one point, these UFOs reportedly hovered just 700 feet above the tail of the Navy destroyer, making, quote, extraordinary maneuvers. Now, Corbell says the unclassified video is part of a classified government report intended to educate officials about unidentified crafts flying over restricted airspace. These cell phone photos taken by a FA-18 pilot in March of 2019 show three different unidentified aircrafts off the coast of Oceania, including two UFOs dubbed the Metallic Blimp and another called the Sphere. A Department of Defense spokesperson said, quote, I can confirm that the referenced photos and videos were taken by Navy personnel. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force has included these incidents in their ongoing examinations. However, the Pentagon was unwilling to confirm these three photos, which Corbell says came from the USS Omaha, showing a UFO diving into the ocean and disappearing.
That is an extraordinary piece of technology. Whoever is operating these technologies are far more advanced than anything we have in the U.S. arsenal, and that should be a warning sign. We need to find out the intent of the operators of these vehicles.
The Pentagon...
The intent, first off, Yahweh Shai is the savior, or salvation. It's by the way of Yahweh Shai, through his name, through his power, the power of those UFOs that he's going to use. That's what their intent is, to come and destroy the curse, like we just read Zechariah chapter 5 that we just read, the curse that goes over the whole earth. And that's the curse, these are the crafts that the world is going to fight against when the Lord comes back, and they're going to be destroyed. And these UFOs, so-called UFOs, are play two roles: to destroy the armies of the earth and to bring salvation to the elect of Israel. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no accounts of his labor. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. So this is the strangeness of our salvation. They're not expecting, us to be saved by the way of UFOs. If they're calculating how could these people be saved, they're saying, well, maybe a black Messiah will raise up, maybe this, maybe that, but they're not expecting so-called chariots, UFOs, to come down from the sky and save the elect. This Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was a war in heaven, Michael and his angels, Michael the archangel, a special high-ranking angel, And his angels, which are going to be in these so-called UFOs, chariots, fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels, and the dragon, the armies of the earth, Esau, American armies, Russian armies, China army, when they all come together to fight against the Lord with his angels, his military man, his fighter jets, this was gonna happen, and they're gonna fight against so-called UFOs in the sky, in the heavens, and this is what's gonna happen. And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So that's what's gonna happen, Here, there's another one. Here. Revelations chapter 19, verse 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his armies. So the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies, they have fighter jets. That's really their best weapons, the fighter jets, armed with nuclear missiles. And they're going to fight against the Lord. They're going to fight against what you're seeing on your screen, these so-called UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel. They're called the chariots of Israel because those are our salvation. Gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, the Lord. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, and that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped the image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire with burning and brimstone. So that's what's going to happen to them. Jump back. Revelations chapter 15. And I saw another sign in heaven. See, we could break down the book of Revelations. Your pastor can't do this, man. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up with the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, because them who got the victory over the beast, they got took up in these UFOs. And he's explaining what he's seen. We got the victory over the beast. We got saved. We got that salvation. And over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So hold that right there. Here, let me see if I can find this. This is 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Then we which are alive and remain should be caught up together with them in the clouds. So same thing like John said in Revelation. So we're going to be, and this is Paul. So we're being caught up in the clouds. How are we going to be brung into the clouds? By the way of these so-called UFOs, to meet the Lord in the air. So the Lord's going to come down with a gigantic chariot. These chariots are going to go save the elect. Just like you see in movies, the UFO beams the light down and it abducts somebody. The elect's going to be abducted into these UFOs, and then maybe it's going to be a whole bunch of small UFOs, and those small UFOs are going to go to the gigantic, what the world calls a mothership, and we're going to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord, and we're going to be with the Lord forever, right? Referring to Revelations chapter 21. Then we're going to have a thing like Revelations chapter 15 when we see all the destruction on the earth. And then after that, we're going to have Revelations chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, a new rulership. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Esau's kingdom, his rulership, passed away. He got destroyed. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. So we went up, 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Revelations chapter 15, we seen the destruction, we were saved, right? And now Revelations 21, John seen us coming back down to have that new rulership over the earth. Coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, right? I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. That's why we should always be with him, because he's going to dwell with us. And he would dwell with them. And they should be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. See how it all matches up? Back Revelations 15. Let's end it off right here, verse 3. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, right? Because they got saved from the first death. No, no, that was time of Noah. But yeah, they got saved out of Egypt, right? And Exodus, yeah. So the so-called the first Exodus. So this is gonna be like a second Exodus, but we're gonna be saved by the chariots, and we're gonna go back to the land just like they did. Moses, the servant of God, in the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints." Salvation to the elect. Shalom.